Hey, what is up guys, TheMilitiaGamer here today, and today we are here talking about Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 3 trailer. Now, I know this isn't usually my normal type of video that I do, but I had a lot, and I mean a lot of ideas on what was going on in that trailer. So, we're going to talk about all the different things, and this is kind of my way of doing my 800th video, great video thing. Fuck. This is my 800th video, so I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different. Instead of just putting out, like a compilation or something, I just figured, hey, they're a piece of trailer analysis. Alright, cool. Alright. So first, let me give my thoughts on the actual game itself. The way it looks is so much more aesthetically pleasing than the original 2 chapters. He put a lot more time and a lot more work into it, and I have to say, watching it back, I was completely impressed. I like the way the environment looks so much darker and the colors just stand out more, even though it is sort of just a couple of different tones of colors. It just stands out more. The atmosphere seems a lot more creepy, and I love it to death, and I think that this is going to be a great chapter to the Bendy and the Ink Machine games. With that in mind, though, there were a few things that I did notice about different things about the characters, some different game mechanics that we see, and I have a couple of theories of different things that we'll be probably seeing. Watching the trailer, you kind of get an idea of the personalities of each of the characters. Bendy is more of a timid kind of person. He's very scared, and he's not very comfortable around, people kind of. He's not very confrontational, and he'll run when something scares him. Take, for example, with the skeleton. When he saw him, he kind of got freaked out, both behind the grave and when he popped up out of the ground. The same thing with Boris. When Boris was starting to go ready to attack him, he just ran right off. So that gives us kind of an idea of what the original, I guess you could say, Bendy is like. We also get an idea of what Boris is. Boris is, as I thought, he's not that smart, because, he gets distracted by the food, and when Bendy goes off on him, fires the soda bottle at him, boom, he gets all rage mode and shit, and then the basket falls on his head, and then he just starts eating a sandwich again. So he's kind of like that Goofy-esque character, and I think that that's really cool. I think we might see some of that translate to the game when we get to probably see some stuff with Boris. I'm not sure per se, but I think that we'll see a little bit of that personality, although I think he'll be a little bit smarter and a little bit more helpful to the player than hinders. I don't think that he's going to be a villain and he's going to turn on us. I know some people have speculated that, but personally, it just wouldn't make sense to me if that's what they went with. Another thing that we noticed too about Bendy's character, Bendy is actually very comfortable when that shadow shows up. All the other characters that he interacts with in the teaser trailer, he's very scared of. He's not very... He kind of just runs away. He doesn't want to deal with it. But when the human-like shadow pops up, we see that he is smiling. He's happy. It's like he's seeing a long friend that he hasn't seen in years. And that kind of gives us our idea that this is the... I guess you could say the devil figure. I'm thinking it is Joey Drew. However, I'm thinking that Joey Drew, at this point, he pretty much just personifies the devil since he gave life to this evil creature, and Bendy is his so-called son or demon, like his Antichrist, I guess you could say. And I think that this tone that they're going for with the game is actually kind of cool if they go in this direction. I'm not sure, but that's personally the feel that I'm getting. Alright, so let's talk about the mechanics that we see throughout the game now. We're seeing, the simple mechanics. We're running away from something, obviously, because we hear the music that we heard when the Ink Demons showed up in Chapter 2. It's that fighting music. So we know, obviously, we're either running from something, or there's something that's going to be eventually attacking us. And we end up seeing that at the end of the trailer. We see Bendy kind of running at us, trying to grab us from the Alice Angel phone booth type thing. But, again, I'll get into that part later. Anyway, we see Henry turn to the right, and then we see these ink demons, but they're much more evolved and a lot more stronger looking, I guess you could say, than what we saw last chapter. Because last chapter, they were kind of, not formed very well. All they did was just kind of sleuth across the ground, like... These ones actually have movement, they have legs, arms, and I think I saw a tail. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. So obviously we're going to have to probably end up fighting those. Like the Meatley had said, there's going to be a lot more weapons. So obviously we're going to have some sort of fighting mechanic, and probably most likely I would say we're going to be fighting these little ink demons. And what I think that they're actually going to do, which I think kind of sounds kind of cool, is they're going to kind of be hiding, and they're going to kind of not jump scare you, but you're going to have to listen kind of for those audio cues, and when you hear the running, or you hear the like a or something like that, you're going to have to swing in the right direction, or throw, or whatever weapon you have, you're going to have to react to that. And I think sound is definitely going to be playing. It's not a thought, actually, it's a definite. Sound is going to be a big part of this chapter, as we can hear from Alice singing at the very end, or someone we at least assume is Alice. I mean, I can say it confidently, and if I'm wrong, then I'll be surprised, and I think a lot of you would also be surprised. But that's just my thought process. And I think that these ink spawns are going to kind of come from anywhere. They could come from the pipes, they could come from the ink in the ground, just like that when we were trying to kind of like deflood the ink by what's his face's office. Forgive me, not Sammy's office, but I think maybe it's Sammy's office. I don't remember offhand. I haven't played the chapter in a while, but I feel like they're going to kind of do that idea. It's going to be more of a jump scare, I think, is the best way to put it. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a jump scare, but I think it's going to be something like that. But I also have another theory as to this as well. And this is kind of where I'm going to start entering theory territory, and this is where I'm going to be stating my own opinions about what I think about certain characters, certain game mechanics, and things like that. So let's just kind of shift what we were just talking about, and then let's turn it on its head for a second here. I am thinking... Now, don't get me wrong, I think we're going to have to fight the ink demons and things like that. I think we might actually be able to get a fight sequence with Bendy. However, I think that there's a possibility that they are not running for us, they are running from something. That something might be Bendy, or it might be Alice. And I think that there is a strong possibility that Alice Angel could be a villain instead of what most people speculate as a hero, or at least some help to the player. Why do I say this? It's simply put, the way that she sings, the way that this chapter is so focused on music, I think that the music is going to be what controls either Bendy or the ink demons or something, and I think that Alice is going to somehow have a connection to that. So whether it's being used for the reason of controlling them to help the player, and you can use like audio cues, kind of like in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, where you used audio cues to move Springtrap away from rooms. It could be something like that. It could be Alice is controlling them, and Alice is the real mastermind here, and Bendy is just a pawn in a bigger game. But I don't know about that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about that, because that's my kind of, I guess you could say, theory, my thought about what I think it could be. I don't think that it's likely, but I think there is somewhat of a possibility that it might turn into something like that, which would be really cool. Although it kind of would defeat the purpose of them. What are those things that we're hiding in? Because at the very end of the trailer, we see that we're hiding in this like heavenly phone booth, I think it was called. Don't quote me on that either. But we're hiding in those, and we see Bendy coming at us, and maybe that's a way that we can protect ourselves from Bendy. That's what a lot of people have been speculating. It's kind of like the Bioshock respawn thing with how Elizabeth was, and that's a place that you can respawn, and you can be healthy and all of that stuff. And I think that is a possibility, but I think that's just more of a way to hide. I don't think that that's going to be... I think that's going to be more of like an Outlast type of thing, like, you know, when the fucking, oh, what is his name? Not the Wall Rider, Piggy guy, if you guys know who I'm talking about. When you see him coming, you have to hide in the lockers, and I think that's kind of what we have to do. I think we have to kind of hide in the locker to get away from Bendy, because I feel like we're also going to get random Bendy encounters, too. I think there's going to be a lot of just randomness, and that's going to throw the player off, and I personally think it's going to be more of a randomly generated thing. I mean, of course, some stuff you can guess is scripted, but I think now, instead of just being, you know, linear appearances like in the last two chapters, like when he re-released the first chapter, we saw Bendy reaching out, and he was, you know, trying to get the player, And then in the second chapter, he just kind of popped up at the very, very end and started chasing the player. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be, he's going to pop up at the most random places, and you're going to either have to fight for your life or hide. Either wounding him in some way or something. I'm not sure. But that's just something that for you guys to debate also in the comment section below. But those are my thoughts, my theories, and different things that I want to talk about for the Bendy and the Ink Machine trailer for Chapter 3. Now, oh my god, I am so excited though, because I'm so excited to be doing a Let's Play for this, again, because I played the first 2 chapters, and those blew me away, and I have very high expectations for this one as well. I think it will probably end up surpassing it, just like the second chapter did with the original first chapter. And I think this is just going to be a great game. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you saw anything that maybe I missed. I saw a few other things that I kind of want to do another video on. But again, I want you guys to give me an opinion if I should keep doing these types of videos, because this isn't usually my regular style. For those of you who watch my own videos, this is just something kind of random that I like to do sometimes, just switching up with a very random video. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy it. And if you guys want to see me play Bendy and the Ink Machine, there will be a little thing you can click on the screen, and you can watch me play and get the crap scared out of me. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and as always, see you guys next time. Bye-bye!